There was a guy, Nick Pope, who investigated, he was part of the UFO desk at the Ministry of Defense of England in the late 90s, mid to late 90s. And I was interviewing him for a number of my films. I did a film called Out of the Blue, I Know What I Saw, before I did The Phenomenon. And I asked him, like, hey, man, you were part of the UFO desk at the MOD. What was the best case you ever saw? And he goes, oh, man, 1990. He didn't give me the town. It was Calvine. But he said, Scotland, there were two poachers. And he said it was late in the afternoon. They were in a place, I now know it's called Calvine. And they came upon, in this relatively remote area, I know because I hiked out to the exact spot, and it's in the movie, and they came upon this diamond-shaped or disc-shaped object that was quite large, that was hovering silently really close. I mean, close. And they were scared to death, and they were kind of hiding out underneath this tree, and they're looking at this thing, what the are we looking at? And they're just looking at this thing as it's silently hovering. Remember, this is 1990, okay? And one of them had a camera, and just as he was considering taking his camera out, a military jet came in. Turns out it was one of those Harrier jet. They think it was a Harrier jet. And it came out into the scene, and it flew all the way around the disc. And as it did so, the guy mustered up the courage, came out from under the tree, and he snapped 5 or 6 photographs of this object suspended in the air. And it went, so the disc is here, and the plane is flying around. It's click, 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 click. The 2 hotel workers just outside the town of Calvine, Scotland, came back, and they were like telling their co-workers, oh my God, we encountered this thing, we don't know what it was. So they go to the local newspaper, and they were like, hey man, we just filmed something in the sky. We got 6 prints of it. It was 35 millimeter film footage, right? And they're going to go public with their story. 2 witnesses, broad daylight, a UFO, points of reference, with a military jet flying around, 5 or 6 prints. The local newspaper was like, they're about to go public with it, print the story, and they were like, well, we need a statement from the RAF. So they contact the press officer, Craig Lindsay, and they were like, hey, what do you make of this UFO these guys took? And Craig Lindsay goes, I don't know what you're talking about. I haven't seen the picture. You haven't seen it? Well, let me send you a print. This is the newspaper. Sends him a print, and he's like, holy shit, the hell is this? Starts getting in touch with the MOD, and he goes out and he investigates this, go talk to the witnesses, and they were telling him. And he goes, well, they told him what happened, and he goes, well, what kind of noise did it make? And they said it didn't make any noise. No, he goes, no noise. That's impossible. You know, an object that can hover like that in the sky for that period of time, we're talking 34 years ago. It didn't make any noise. And the witness said no. So he was like, holy, this is crazy. So he takes a color Xeroxing machine, and he sends it to the MOD in London, and he says, hey, there's a case that you might want to check, you might want to look into. He said he went from the office where the Xerox machine was, and before he can get back to his office, his phone was ringing off the hook, MOD. And the MOD basically stepped in, took over the investigation. They said, you can step down to Craig Lindsay. He steps down. He keeps the print, right? He steps down. They take over. Witnesses gone. 5 or 6 prints gone. Story killed. Discreetly, for over a 20-year period, I was making inquiries because I don't like letting things go, right? It was like, this picture exists, and bloody hell, let's get this one out there. David Clark found Craig Lindsay, and the way he found Craig Lindsay, the guy that kept one of the prints, is that he got a declassified government document out of the MOD's office that had redactions on it. And one of the things it said was, it was 1990, and they said, RAF press officer in Scotland, blacked out, said that blah, 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 blah. And he's like, huh. So this whole dialogue starts going, and there's, developing and then he goes, well, gosh, I guess I might have one. It turns out he ended up keeping one of those prints, which he had. And that story broke probably 2 years ago. David Clark, again, I can't thank you enough. You deserve accolades for this.